Hey there. As you're getting ready to list your home, you're going to sign a document called the Exclusive Listing Agreement. And it's only 3 pages long, and it's full of terms that sound more complicated than they actually are. So today, I want to walk you through it section by section in plain English, so you know exactly what you're agreeing to before you sign anything. And a quick note before we start, this video explains what the form says. It is not legal advice, nor will my explanation capture every word of the contract. It is your obligation to not sign this form until you're satisfied and comfortable with the terms presented. If you have any specific questions about your unique situation, just ask. It's literally why I'm here. All right, now let's get into it. This paragraph at the top sets up the basics. It names you as the seller, names Coldwell Banker as the broker, and describes the property that you're selling. Now, section 1, exclusive listing. It sets the listing period, which is how long the agreement runs. It can't be longer than 12 months, and it starts on the effective date, which is the date everybody signs it. Now, depending on the market, mine typically run from 4 to 7 months, give or take. And the word exclusive matters here. And the only agent with the right to represent you in selling this property during that time period. It also spells out what selling means under this agreement: signing a purchase contract, exchanging a property, or granting someone the option to buy it. Section 2, list price. This is where your initial ask price gets written down. But here's the important part. You are always in control of that number. You can direct me to change the listing price at any point, and you get to decide whether an offer's price or terms work for you. This section also confirms that we'll market and sell your home following fair housing laws every step of the way. Section 3, agency relationships and broker obligations. This is a longer section, so I'm going to break it into pieces. First, it confirms that I'll use reasonable skill and care to sell your home, and that my specific duties are laid out in a separate form called the Real Estate Agency Disclosure and Election Form. You'll receive and acknowledge this form separately than this, but probably be the same email. And number 2, it's clear that I'm not a lawyer, inspector, engineer, or tax professional. If something comes up involving the physical condition of the property, financing, or legal questions, I will not be able to provide technical advice. That's what qualified professionals are for. And third, it explains that I may represent other sellers and other buyers, even ones interested in properties similar to yours, both now and after this agreement ends. And finally, here's an explanation for what happens if the buyer comes to me directly without their own agent. In that case, I'll be acting as what's called limited agent, which is representing both you and the buyer at once. A limited agent still owes both sides loyalty and confidentiality, but with real limits. I can't share your bottom line price or terms with the buyer, and I can't share the buyer's bottom line with you unless you both give me written permission. Now, I rarely accept both sides of the transaction, as my power to negotiate is gone, and I'm kind of a glorified paper pusher. Here's a line worth pausing on. Real estate commissions are not fixed by law. They are fully negotiable always. Section 4, seller's payment to seller's broker. This covers how much and when I get paid. If your home sells during the listing period, you'll owe a commission made up of a flat fee, but plus a percentage of the sales price. So let me explain. It's $225 or whatever it is by the time you watch this video. Coldwell Banker charges the separate amount that they use to help them cover the costs, such as keeping the documents for 5 years in a way that's as safe as possible. That money goes directly to them and has nothing to do with my compensation. My commission is negotiable depending on the level of service you desire. Full service is 3%, and partial service is 2.5%. I don't accept less than that. Now, that compensation isn't owed until the close of escrow, meaning the sale actually completes. There are a few situations where the commission may be owed right away, even without a completed sale. For example, if you pull the property off the market without my written consent, if you transfer ownership some other way, or if you breach the purchase contract and the deal falls through because of it. There's also a protection period after the listing ends. If within that number of days after the agreement ends, you sell to someone who is introduced to the property during the listing period, you may still owe me a commission, but that only applies if I've identified that person to you in writing within 7 days of the agreement ending. I can't come back later with a surprise name. And the last piece, if the buyer shows up without their own agent, there's an additional commission for the extra work of representing your interest directly, in addition to what's already been agreed to. If that happens, it would be a limited representation agreement, which we don't intend to do without some extenuating circumstances. Section 5, escrow instructions. This is a short but important one. It authorizes escrow to pay Coldwell Banker directly from your proceeds at the closing, based on what's spelled out in Section 4. You're agreeing to sign whatever additional escrow paperwork is needed to make that happen. Section 6, seller representations. Here you're confirming a few important facts that you actually own the property and have the ability to sell it, and that there's no one else with an ownership stake who isn't already accounted for, and that you don't have any active listing agreements or purchase agreements already in place. If you're working with a different broker in the last 180 days, you're agreeing to share that paperwork with me to make sure we're not stepping on any prior agreements. All right, Section 7, multiple listing service. This section is all about the MLS, which is the shared database that gets your home in front of other agents through syndication out into the general public. It authorizes me to submit your listing there and to report the sale details once it's closed. Even though we will discuss the expectation that the buyer will ask you to pay their buyer's agent's commission, which has already been done, I will not post whatever number we discuss in MLS. It will only be negotiated when an offer is submitted, because it will be one of the contract terms. There's also a few optional boxes here, only checked if they apply to your specific listing, excluding your home from MLS for a period of time, marketing it as coming soon, opting out of an MLS-fed website advertising, or waiving MLS use altogether. Each of these has its own rules and paperwork, and will only check one if it's something you specifically want. Section 8. Advertising and seller authorizations. This is where the day-to-day marketing details live. Signs and lockbox will mark whether I'm authorized to place a yard sign with sign writers and a lockbox at the property. Fixtures. By default, everything attached to the home goes with the sale. If there's something you want to exclude, like chandelier or mounted TV bracket, that gets listed here. For example, a TV bracket is considered attached and must stay, but the TV is not. Curtains and blinds stay. Just know the actual purchase contract with the buyer is what legally decides what stays and what goes, no matter what's noted in this section. We will go through the home to discuss items like this. If there's something you need to keep that is attached to the home in any way, do not assume you'll keep it. Ask me before the photos were taken or we go live in MLS. Leased or not owned items. If you're leasing or making payments on a loan for anything at the property, like let's say solar panels, security system, or water softener, you'll need to disclose that and provide every page of documentation to me so that I can meet the contractual obligations by giving it to the buyer's agent. Photography and video. This section covers photos and videos of virtual tours used to market your home. It's worth knowing that those images become the property of the brokerage and any vendors involved. And once something's online, none of us can control where it ends up or how long it's there. You'll choose whether you authorize that kind of media. Section 9, access and personal property. This section allows for reasonable access to your home for showings, open houses, inspections, and appraisals once we're in escrow. It's a good reminder to take precautions of your own, such as putting away valuables, pretty much anything that can fit into a purse or pockets. Consider your own insurance or home warranty coverage during the process. And if you have security cameras, post a notice that cameras are in use. If anyone else lives at the property, you're responsible for letting them know about showings and getting their sign off on any log. Section 10, broker managed approval and termination. A branch manager has to be able to review, and if needed, end this agreement. After it starts, a branch manager can unilaterally terminate it for any reason with written notice to you. The agreement can also be ended by mutual agreement in writing, signed by both you and the branch manager. Section 11, disclosures and indemnity. You're agreeing, meaning legally required to complete standard disclosure forms and to tell me, along with any buyer, about anything material you know regarding the property's condition. These could be things like sewer connections, lanes, past history, or past repairs. You're also agreeing to stand legally behind the accuracy of what you share, since buyers and their agents will be relying on it as well. In other words, you agree to indemnify, defend me if anything comes up regarding incorrect or incomplete information you provided. Section 12, attorney's fees. If a dispute ever comes up between you and the brokerage related to this agreement, each side covers their own attorney's fees and costs. Section 13, modification and amendment. Nothing in this agreement can be changed informally. All modifications must be done in writing and signed by everyone involved. Section 14, counterparts and electronic transmission. This one's just practical. The agreement can be signed in separate copies, and an electronic signature counts the same as an original. Section 15, the entire agreement. This confirms that this document, along with any related forms, is the whole deal. Anything discussed beforehand that isn't written into this agreement doesn't count. Section 16, legally authorized signer. This last section only comes into play if someone other than you personally is signing, like a trustee or someone with power of attorney or a representative of the estate or business entity. Whoever signs on your behalf needs to check the box that applies and provide proof of their authority within 3 business days. Now the signing section, we're almost done. Almost. The goal of this document is to protect you and to spell out clearly what I'm offering to do on your behalf. And it leaves you in control of the big decisions, your price, your terms, and whether to accept an offer. If anything here has raised a question specific to your home or your situation, that's exactly what I'm here for. Reach out anytime and let's get your home on the market. I'm Nancy Wittenberg with Coldwell Banker Realty, your dedicated home advocate. Thank you so much for watching.